Thank you so much for joining on this training today. Guys, the name of this training is How to Elevate Yourself from Basic to Expert. And the majority of this training is really going to be a mindset training. It's crazy in this world that we live in today, more than any time else, mindset is one of the most important things, right? For the most part, it's ourselves, it's our minds that stop us from being even better than what we could be, right? And I think more than ever, I think it's really important for this training because with so many changes going on, the one thing we just can't allow is mediocrity. What is mediocrity? Have you ever said, and sorry if you guys are vegans or vegetarians, you ever said, I want an okay burger. I want to go to this place that has this okay burger. I don't think you guys said that. I want to go to the place with the best burger, with the best food, right? If you ever have to settle, it has to be the worst feeling in the world. And yes, I'm sure at some point in our lives, we've settled. How do you feel afterwards? Man, I really could have done this. No, that is the worst feeling. That what if is the worst feeling. You don't want to settle. You don't want mediocrity. We want the best. We want the best. And with that in mind, if we want the best, guess what we need to do? We need to give the best. And like I said, more than ever now, especially with these new buyer-broker agreements that we've never had before, technically, right? For somebody to hire us, we need to be the best in the game. We need to. There's no, I can get by with some C's. No, we need to be the best. We need to be the best. And how do we start there? First of all, we need to auto-analyze ourselves. Auto-analyze ourselves. Do you believe in yourself? Would you buy from yourself? And that's super important, guys, because remember, at the end of the day, the way that you can get furthest in this business is understanding what you want, right? What you want, how you want to be treated. Because 9 out of 10 times, that other person wants to be treated the same way you're probably feeling it, right? So you want to make sure you feel like you're getting the best level of service. And what's one of the ways that you can do that? This sounds like something that you should definitely know already, right? But it's keeping your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And guys, if you haven't been in this business for a while, I promise you that means so much. It means so much. How many times have you personally wanted to buy something, have been shopping, from a salesperson, and you tell them specifically, they tell you, hey, I'm going to call you on Tuesday. I'm going to call you on Wednesday. And it never happens. How do you feel? You automatically feel like you can't trust that person. You automatically feel like this is setting the tone for a bad type level of service, right? Once again, don't be the person that you wouldn't want to buy from, because at the end of the day, that's all we have, right, is our word. One of the biggest ways to elevate yourself from being basic to expert, okay, is educating yourself. I took some time to find out what it means to be an expert. Here's the true definition. A person who has a comprehensive knowledge of or skill in a particular area. You know a lot. You know a lot about your business. You know a lot of it. If you can do that, you can be an expert. And how do you become an expert? By educating yourself. And you guys are probably tired of hearing, oh, you got to read books. Oh, you got to make sure you take classes. Guys, it's one thing being tired of it, but are you actually doing it? And once again, guys, this is all a mindset training. There's so many trainings out there, especially even with this company, that are there that are free to you guys. Free to you guys. Everyone here, I'm pretty sure, pays an MLS. Your MLS offers trainings at a day-to-day basis just for you to be able to regain the knowledge that you need in order to call yourself an expert. How many of you guys, when you first started, were probably scared to take on clients because what? Because you didn't know what to do, right? It's one thing to be scared, but what are you doing about it? You need to elevate yourself. You need to be able to educate yourself. Watch the videos, do what you need to do to make sure you know what you're talking about. And guys, about our clients, it's not about the money. Go into every deal understanding that it's not about the money. It's about the client. If you really care about the client, it's going to show. It's going to show, and it's not going to reek like you only care about the money. That is one way to really show that you are an expert. When the way that you talk, the way that you act, the way that you are perceived is that you care about the person that you're taking care of. Take it step by step. Learn it the best way that you learn things. When we talk about learning, some people learn differently. It could be audio for you, visual for others, maybe by feel, by actually doing things. Whichever way it is that works for you, for me, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you actually do it. Because at the end of the day, this is a personal business. Being a realtor is a personal business. What I do might work for me. What you do needs to work for you. Another way to elevate yourself from basic to expert is taking charge. When you have a buying client, this is extremely important, guys. When you have a buying client, you're not going to decide for your client, but you're going to be reiterating to them what they have already told you. For example, I really need a house with a yard, maybe 4 bedrooms. And now they're sending you homes, right? Because they jump on Zillow, we know this. They jump on Realtor.com. They're selling you 3-bedroom townhouses with no yard, right? And they have 2 dogs, right? So what is it in the best interest? To reiterate what they've already told you. Hey, John, I completely understand that this house looks nice for you, right? But at the end of the day, remember what you told me, right? Reiterating what they've already told you, taking charge. Because at the end of the day, just so you know, if you haven't dealt with a lot of buyers, many times they need to be taken by the hand and shown what to do here. Because remember, for many buyers, it is the first time they buy a house. They don't know what they're doing. They're depending on you to coach them throughout the whole process. Matter of fact, they believe in their head that if you don't do that, you're actually not doing their job. Have you ever heard someone say, I mean, my realtor didn't do anything. I did everything on my own. I even sent them to houses, right? No, guys, you got to take charge. You need to take charge. And obviously, we know that's not true, right? They have no idea what happens in the background of things. Make sure you explain to them what it is that you're doing. Because at the end of the day, they don't know unless you tell them. How about sellers? What if you're a listing agent? Guys, they want to feel like you are doing everything you can to get them the most money for their home. You got to be realistic early on, though, and confident regarding the value of their home. When you're about to tell a seller, hey, this is the amount that I believe your home is worth based on all the info that I've taken, the minute that amount comes out of your mouth, guys, that's it. You really, truly have one shot to tell them the right number. Because if you tell them the wrong number, it could be downhill and quickly, right? And what do you need for that? You need to make sure you know what you're doing. You need to make sure you know what you're talking about, and you need to be confident about it. It's not just knowing. If you're not expressing in a way that's confident, they're not going to trust you. They're not going to believe you. And more than likely, they're not going to want to continue with you as an agent. Remember, just because somebody is signing something today doesn't mean they want to continue with you tomorrow. So you need to be doing things on a daily basis that are proving that you have given value. Another way to elevate yourself to expert level is being known. This is a big one, guys. Being known. Think about this for a second. What do you guys do today to make sure that somebody that you're dealing with is a true professional? What do you guys do? You guys go to Google, you type in the name, and you confirm that this is a real person. There's too many scam artists. I don't even blame them, right? There's too many scams today. They want to make sure that the person they're dealing with is a true professional. So the first thing I will tell you, just like I tell my team, make sure you have a Google My Business page. If you have not created one yet, talk to your local manager or let me know even on this chat. I'll try to give you a little bit of tidbits on how you can do it really quickly, right? But you need to have a Google business page. On top of that, you need to make sure you have reviews, okay? You're going to be like, well, Sergio, that sounds great, but I haven't sold one house. And I'll say, you know what? Okay. But remember, Your business page on Google is about you as an individual. So you have family, you have friends that know you as on a personal level that can write something about you on a personal level on your Google business page. And now you have reviews, 3, 4, 5. Guys, the more reviews you have, the quicker it is for somebody to be able to find you. And actually on the internet, just so you know, that actually makes it easier for somebody to find you and make it to seem like you really are a true professional. Obviously, social media. If you can create a web page, guys, the more contact a person can have with you, the better. Okay? You want to get as much exposure out there. If you guys have any schools nearby you, talk to them to see if maybe there's a way for you to put some banners up or something. Make sure people can relate your name, your face with your profession. All right. You want them to understand that, hey, it's Claudette, the realtor. It's Chris, the realtor, right? They want to make sure you can relate their name, your name, with your professions. And be resourceful. Sometimes because this is a personal business, with this personal business, sometimes you think, oh, you got to figure everything on your own. It's all on you. Rodney, I saw your question. I'll get back to it at the end, okay? It's all on you. That's not true. You don't always need to know everything, but you should know people that do know. And that's why networking is so essential. It's so essential. It's not just hanging out. And that's important for you and your family to know. Networking is not just hanging out with other realtors, with other companies. It's literally about meeting people and making connections. What type of connections? Any type of connection. Guys, if you've dealt with clients, I'm pretty sure your client has asked you, hey, by any chance, do you know a plumber? Do you know an electrician? Do you know an insurance agent? Guys, they expect you as a local realtor to know everyone and everything at all times. You know a local dentist? And it sounds a little funny, but if you've been in this business for some time, you'll understand that it's all true. And it's in your best interest to know people. Make yourself available. Also, and they're going to be chasing after you in a little bit, right? Title companies. Title companies are chasing after you, and so are loans, right? Lenders, they're going to be chasing after you. Make good connections. It's not a bad thing that they're chasing after you. If they're chasing after you, that means that more than likely they're going to do their part when you send them a client. So make connections because you'll be able to also ask them questions when somebody asks you, hey, what is a DSCR loan? Hey, do I need a W-2 to be able to buy a house? Hey, what does it mean to have a lien on the house? These are all questions that maybe you don't know off the top of your head, but by the connections that you've made, you'll be able to answer the question. So really important. You don't always need to know everything, but you need to know people who do. Look the part. I wrote this and I thought it was so important. Believe it or not, how you look, how you walk, how you talk can also elevate your skills. If you don't believe me, walk into a Walmart one day, fully suited, and look at the reactions of the people. Matter of fact, I happened to do that a couple of weeks ago, and somebody stopped me and said, "Do I know you? No, are you like the mayor?" I'm like, I gave him my business card and we had a good conversation afterwards. But the point is, guys, the way that you look, the way that you talk, the way that you carry yourself is extremely important. It really shows professionalism. And once again, it elevates yourself from basic to expert. And that's really one of the biggest points of this conversation. Guys, cost of doing business. It costs to get far. And this is important, especially if we have some newbies here. And, hey, is it going to cost me to do this business? You probably notice right now, even if you just got your license, our manager's telling you, hey, you need to have access to the MLS. You need to have access to, whatever MLS that you have in your area. And guess what? You probably noticed this. It costs money. It costs money. We're talking about, in some cases, over $1,000 in order to get that program, right? So you probably know by now that is expensive to do this business. Okay. But that also should give you guys some motivation, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're doing this and you're paying that type of money, it shows you that you need to make this work. You need to make this work. You can't just sit there waiting for things to fall on your lap and for you to become a millionaire, right? You need to be active. This training is not about how to find leads. So we're not going to get into that. It's really just about elevating your business, right? And there is a cost to that. Do you need to spend everything you have? In some cases, maybe, okay? And I say that in the nicest way possible, right? Because at the end of the day, we need to make sacrifices to get where we want to be. That's just not financially. We're also talking about your time for yourself, time for your family, right? These are sacrifices we need to make to get ahead. We can't just be basic, guys. We need to push ahead, especially when we're just getting started in the business. Important for you guys to know, from everything you make, you should be putting back into your business. A good rule of thumb, if you didn't know this, you should be putting back 5% of what you make into marketing. 5% from everything you make should be put back into marketing. How you use it is up to you, but you should be putting back. Why? Because that's the only way you can elevate your business. Okay? If you want to stay constant, if you want to be consistent, then do what you're doing now. If you want to elevate yourself from basic to expert, you need to be able to put that back in. And I know when you've probably first received your check, you're like, I need to pay back everything that I just bought, right? But remember, don't think small, think big, all right? The little bit of money that you're putting into marketing is going to allow you to have, instead of 1 deal, 2 deals, 3 deals, 4 deals. And no, it's very difficult when you're probably going through a tough patch, right? A rough patch. But I promise you, it is going to elevate you. The last note I have here is giving back. What you learn, you got to push it forward. Okay. And if you're like, oh, that sounds nice. How is that going to help my business? When you're doing this business, it's very easy to go into a mode. It's almost like cruise control. Like, oh yeah, I'm just doing my thing. I caught a flow and it's working for me. When you talk about what you need to do, it reiterates what you exactly need to do. How many of us have slack doing follow-up? How many of us haven't created our web pages because we've been so busy, right? Guys, super important to give back what you learned. And matter of fact, guys, giving back should also help you want to be better, right? Because if you're telling somebody else you have to do X, Y, Z, are you doing it? All right. How are some of the ways that you can do that? Buying seminars, just so you know, is a way to give back. Sure, you might be able to get some leads from that, but at the end of the day, you're giving back to your community on how it is that you buy a house. Mom groups, if you're a mom. Other agents, right, in your team. Share your knowledge. Share your wealth. The more you give, the more they retain, the more you're going to gain. Okay? And that is the juice and the biggest part of this training. Let me answer some questions here on the chat, and then in a second, I'll open up for more questions. Right here, I have, with Google Business Pages, I believe you have to have an address associated with the business. Do you have any suggestions on a workaround for that if we don't use our personal address? That's a great question, Rodney. Guys, this is really important for you guys to know. I know some of you guys are a little bit nervous putting your personal address online. You're like, wait a second, this world is crazy. And I would say, I agree with you. This world is crazy. But just so you guys know, when you guys first took out your license, they asked for your personal address. And if you've ever moved, they said, if you don't tell us that you moved, we're going to suspend your license. So when you're opening up a Google business page, put in your personal address, but there's a little box that says, do not show my address. Okay, really important. When you open up a Google business page, put in your personal address, not the office, because it will not allow you to do that. It'll give you a kickback and it won't allow you to do it. So make sure you put in your personal address and just check mark the part that says do not show my address. Great question, Rodney. I appreciate you asking that. Super, super important. Bernie, actually don't put the office address. It's going to kick back because let's say there's 100 Asians in that one office, well, Google sees, wait a second, there's an anomaly here. There's an issue. Okay. Guys, there's so much that you can do to elevate yourself. The first thing I will say, guys, if you don't have a lot of funds, jump on YouTube, or if you even better, jump on your with the lifestyle team with your managers and ask them questions. Hey, where do I start? Where do I start? And I'll tell you this, I'll give you a hint right now. Make sure you have access to Transaction Desk, okay, with Carolina, because Transaction Desk has all the forms that we use as realtors. Okay, start with the as is bar contract. Read it until you turn blue. Understand it. Okay, that is one of the most important documents that we're going to be using as agents. So if you know it, just this is key. If you know that document, you'll be able to use it in negotiations. Believe it or not, if you really know how to play with it, the contract can be used to help your client be a star. Okay, so you, once again, elevating yourself to be an expert is super important, guys. And here we go. How do I start myself up as an LLC to start tracking my income and be able to file taxes? This is a great question. Guys, go to sunbiz.org. Sunbiz.org is the way that you can start any type of business. Before you open up a business, talk to your tax professional or your accountant. What's best for me? Is it opening an LLC? Is it opening up an S Corp, a C Corp? Okay. Because sometimes you hear other people doing certain things, but that doesn't mean it's the best option for you. Okay. So I would always suggest to talk to an accountant, talk to your tax professional, and ask them what's the best option for you, because they might be able to save you on taxes at the end of the year if you chose right. Any other questions, guys, for today? We have a few more minutes. Any other questions? Anything that comes off the top of your head? Do we have to put the business in our name? Chris, that's another good question. A question that you should be asking your tax accountant or your professional. I would say yes, because when you get paid, if you have your personal name, it'll be easier for you to get paid directly to your business versus going directly to your personal. And that gets a little squeamish when it comes to your taxes, right? Because then you'll have personal taxes and you have business taxes. So it's always easier to use your personal name. But once again, talk to your tax professional or your accountant first. I don't want anybody saying, Sergio told me. No, talk to your professional first. So that way you're not pointing the finger back at me. Okay? Guys, if some of this sounded like gibberish today, please feel free to reach out to me, even on a personal level. How do you start your day? I mean, guys, I have two girls. So I have kids, but I will say this. I start my day by jumping online. I know it's crazy, right? Because people say, oh, I go on Instagram. No, personally, I use Facebook a ton, not because I'm older, all right? But Facebook, I follow a ton of groups, and you'll be shocked how many groups are like, does anybody know, about this area? Does anybody have any apartments for rent, apartments for sale? You'll be shocked when you jump online how you can get into the business just by be part of these groups. And guys, you don't have to respond just to real estate stuff. Does anybody know a local dentist in the area? Remember we talked about being resourceful? Once you put information on these Facebook groups and they see your name, you become a top contributor. Once you become a top contributor, guess what you get? More people looking at your page. And guess what you sell? Real estate. That is a natural way for you to put your business out there. So if you never thought about this, you're welcome. All right. What are some examples of reinvesting in your marketing as a beginner? What a great question, Eric. Eric, the first thing I would say, get your Google business page because it's free. It's free. Your Google business page is free. And the truth is, the first place people go to find out if you're truly a professional is Google. Okay. Google will also allow you to pay to sponsor your page. Okay. Once you create a business page, it'll allow you to put something called Google Ads. Okay. You can start right away and put your Google ads, but if you don't have any reviews, I don't suggest it because you're going to be paying money that won't be helpful for you. You need to make sure that you have your name rolling in order for you to actually make sense on paying ads. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Well, also another one for you, Eric, and everybody who's listening. Uh, Facebook and Instagram ads are one of the cheapest ads that you can pay for. Okay? It's one of the cheapest ways. So create maybe a small video, maybe with introduction, or a small video talking about a certain location, depending on where you live, and boost it. Maybe $30 for like 3 days, but you'll get a ton of views and you'll start boosting up your person. Okay. So one of the easiest ways to do that. Also, I just paid for a banner in a local school here for 2 years. They're charging me $350 for me to have a banner in front of the school, which just so you know, that's great. 2 years, basically free marketing for everyone who drives by the school and all the students who come in. So look into that, guys. It's a great way for you to get your name out there. Okay. So those are the quick ways as a beginner. I know we're short for time. As an agent, can we work as a business? I understand that we have to act as agents, not as LLC, correct? Gustavo, actually, believe it or not, the way you create your LLC or your business, can actually be used as your bank account. You need to confirm one with your manager on how you want to create that LLC or S Corp or C Corp, and make sure that way they can pay you directly, meaning your business versus you personally. Okay. Once again, that is a tax accounting question. Don't hold me to it, but there are ways around it to make sure that you are not liable personally for those taxes, but your business is. And guys, just so you know, you want to do that because that way you can write off the gas that you spend right now, right? Driving to work, the marketing dollars that you're spending, right? We just talked about, paying for ads. All those things are write-offs that you're spending back into your business, right? And once again, you want to spend at least 5% of the amount that you're gaining back into your business. Okay? I know some of you guys, I did this when I first started, put a magnet on your car and drive around it, especially if you drive around a lot. It might work for you. So give it a shot, I know Jason at Planet Marketing makes that. So super important. Okay? Another way when you're first getting started, make sure that you have a for sale sign. I know it sounds cheesy. Make sure you have a for sale sign ready to go when you get that listing. And also, if your office doesn't have open house signs, have those ready because one of the best ways for you to create business is actually hosting open houses for other agents. Even if you don't have any listings, go on your group chat, find out who's doing open houses and ask them, hey, can I host that open house for you? I would love to help you out. Okay? Super important. Guys, any last questions before we jump off today's meeting? Going once, going twice, going thrice. Guys, thank you so much for joining today. Hope you guys were able to take some gems back. But most importantly, make sure you use it towards your business because I don't want you guys to be basic anymore. I want you guys to be experts. All right, guys? Signing off. Take care now.